ทุกคนสบายดีนะคะ
สบายขอบคุณค่ะ
ดีมากค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Very loud and clear today, Ajahn.
Very good
Swadika Chan and Nuresara and everyone.
Shall we start คุณสาระค่ะ
Okay, let's go. Let's see if anyone has any questions they would like to start with. I think at the
Recording
end
in
of
progress.
At the end of the discussion last week, Little Hung was asking some questions and Ajahn responded just at the end, what is there now? However much we think about the details and what is in the sutta and this point and that point, the question is, what is there right now? What is there to be understood now? Otherwise, we just get lost in the words, the meanings, the details, and forget about this very moment, seeing now, hearing now, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, sound, visible object. So always back to this moment. And sometimes people may think that the answers don't directly answer the questions, but the point is, if we don't come back to considering what is now, then however much detail or however much theory we accumulate, it's not the understanding of reality at this moment as taught by the Buddha. And as Little Hung said, no one can understand all the details in the book. And if we try to understand, or if we try to practice or think it's about practicing Daltunga or anything else, we just forget about Dhammas now as anatta, just understanding what appears now, just realities, condition, arise and fall away. So the point of the study is to understand that what appears now, what is life now, is anatta. No one who can do anything, no one who can practice, no one who can try, no one who can make understanding arise. But because the teachings are subtle, the idea of trying or doing or looking for another way comes in all the time. But there has to be the letting go now. And sometimes it may seem that what we hear is clear already, and we've heard it many, many times, and everyone knows that seeing sees what is visible. It seems easy and clear, but actually it's not clear unless the understanding has developed very deeply, unless it is the developed satipatthana, the vipassana jnanas. It's not clear understanding. It's just beginning to consider wisely what has been heard and appreciated. And because it's not clear, that's why there are doubts and wondering about this point and that point again and again. So this is why there has to be a lot of careful considering and reflecting and considering again and again about the truth now.
Thank you, Sarah.
So are there any points you would like to follow up with, Little Hung or anyone else?
No, Sarah, I have other further wondering. Thank you.
Sarah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, carry on.
Yes, so if there is no other questions, then I would like to raise one question. This was discussed in one of the Vietnamese discussion as well. And it was about the king, the sutta being devoured in Samyutta Nikaya. We would like you and Achan and John also to explain a little bit more. And the detail is as is. And why bhikkhu? Do you call it form? It is deformed bhikkhu. Therefore, it is called form. Deformed by what? Deformed by cold, deformed by heat, deformed by hunger, deformed by thirst, deformed by contact with flies, mosquito, wind, sun, serpents. It is deformed bhikkhu. Therefore, it is called form. So we would like to understand a little bit more about the sutta because it seems that it's mixed up between Paramattha Dhamma and also the conventional concepts as well in the teaching in the sutta. Thank you.
I'll just say a few words and then let Jan and Jonathan carry on. So this is talking about rupati. It is whatever rupa arises. It is deformed or it is affected. It is affected by the sun, the wind, the rain, the flies, and so on. We think of the rupas that make up a rock or affected in this way. And as you say, here we're using conventional examples, but actually what is rock? It's just different rupas arising and falling away, each one decaying and gone instantly. And this is the meaning of rupa, that which is affected, is deformed. I can't think of a better word at the moment, by all the different conditions, the different elements in these ways. So the conventional examples are just pointing to the realities. If there were no rupas arising and falling away, there'd be no idea of flies and the heat of the sun and rocks and so on. But molested is sometimes used. The rupas are molested in these ways by the temperature, for example, worn away, molested. And we have the picture of a rock being worn away by the temperature, but actually they're just different rupas arising and falling away, molested or deformed at each moment. Perhaps Ajahn would like to add more to any of these points.
If nothing falls away, can it be deformed? From form to deform. If whatever arises doesn't fall away, it cannot be changed. But since whatever arises falls away, and the arising and falling away keep on going on and on, that's why it shows the difference between one reality and the other reality in the way of deform. But in truth, whatever now arises and falls away, succeeded on and on, arising and falling away. So what appears is the form of that which is form. Any moment it can be thought about, it can be considered the truth little by little, to understand the truth intellectually, to condition moment of directly understanding what is there as it is, different one. Is it there now? The next one is not the last one. Form and deform. It depends on the words to describe the truth of what is there, arises and falls away. It cannot stay, it cannot be the same at all. It changes by conditions all the time, but unknowingly, so very rapidly. Otherwise, nothing can change or can be changed at all. Just talk about the absolute truth, the ultimate truth of what is there that can be discerned, can be developed, more and more confidence of that which appears and disappears unknowingly. But as the understanding of the truth of with each one is firmer, to know the difference between this one and that one, it conditions more letting go of what is there is still there. In truth, not at all. That's why without understanding of the truth, it's impossible to understand the word of the truth from the enlightenment. All of the teachings just explain the impermanence of whatever arises and falls away, to be known gradually, little by little, in different ways of explanation, like the form and deform, and what is the truth. Only reality is different one, from moment to moment, changing all the time. Nothing lasts. And this will gradually lead to letting go, attachment, and ignorance of what is there. From hearing again and again this kind of words and that kind of words about the truth, until it's there, condition, the understanding at moment of touching, that is different from the intellectual understanding, because it's there instantly. Be aware of that characteristic which is experienced with understanding the truth. It's just what we have heard, no matter what characteristic of the object appearance. For example, hardness, see, it's the unknown or there, but they're conditioned for moment of just understanding it, that is that which is there, to be known, to realize the truth of it, that is not there all the time. Little by little, developed by different accumulation of each one. Each word is heard depending on accumulation, in what aspect one. That can be the beginning of developing understanding of the truth. So all words of the teaching, it's there now. No need to look for it, it's there already, but no understanding of the truth of it. That's why we listen again and again about what is there to be known, one by one, by conditions too. That's why we read about the teachings of the truth of Citta and Cetasika and Rupa. It's there, but it's not known. But when it's known, it's hard, or it's smell, or it's thinking, or it's liking, all are there, not in work only, but it's there now, from moment to moment. Without the word of truth, how can there be the understanding of what is there now? Because all depends on conditions. Even right understanding is intellectual about what is there, but that is just intellectual understanding. But when there is moment of directly understand the truth by conditions, certainly anothernness, there can be a little more understanding of the difference between awareness or no awareness at all. Just heart, but heart appears to that which experiences it with awareness and understanding of the truth of it. So close. What is there now? Not now, but what is there now? Not just now. When there's no conditions enough, one is looking for it. What is there? See? But it's another by conditions. No one can make it right, but it's there. Attend to the characteristic of that with awareness. Many wholesome jatasikas are there, unknown, but it can be known little by little, gradually, what is there as it is, not in word, but by its characteristic which appears to be known as it is. Like hardness is there, it can be known, it can be known, but not by anyone, but by right understanding of the truth of it. That it's hard. See, even just a moment of it's hard, not inward. It's conditioned to develop on and on, to let go the idea of something, or my finger, or whatever to take it for, with idea about it. And this is life, keeps on as it is by conditions, but what is developed is the understanding from hearing, considering the truth when time comes. And who knows when will it be time by conditions, anatta. It is possible only when there are enough conditions for its arising. So it's there, depending on how much understanding of it, to let go ignorance and attachment at moment of experience anything through the six ways. Because in life, what appears has to be through one of the six ways. Otherwise, there cannot be any world appear at all. Now it's a
I think
world. Yes, please.
I was going to say, and I think one more point is the rupas which are taken for the body or the breath or one's nails or flowers or the ocean are all taken for being so beautiful, hasuba, but actually each one arises and falls away. It's deformed. It doesn't last for an instant. It breaks up as soon as it's arisen. So nothing beautiful about any of the rupas at all. And so I think that the rupati, the deformed, is also referring to how actually whatever arises and falls away, any rupa at all, is actually asubha, not subha, not beautiful at all. Because of not understanding that the rupas are taken for something lasting, that is beautiful. But when there is understanding of what rupa is now that appears, and when it's the developed understanding of the arising and falling away of the rupa, then no question, but it's foul and it's deformed, not pleasurable, not beautiful in the slightest. Not the sounds heard, not the visible object seen, not the taste tasted. Each one disintegrates immediately, breaks up, deformed. Not worth clinging to for an instant, like we think and cling to the idea of the taste, but it's already broken up and gone. It's actually foul, but just dreaming about the pleasant taste, just living in the world of dreams and concepts and ideas because of not understanding the truth of what is the rupa that was experienced or is experienced now. And that's why whatever details we read, actually what's important is just the understanding of what appears now. Otherwise, we're just living in the book details, but forgetting about this moment.
From what Achan said earlier, I got it that because of the arising and falling away of the rupa, so we can see the changes in even in concepts. Like when it's the sutta explained by way of concepts, is it ultimately because of the arising and falling away of rupa, of the ultimate realities at every moment? I am correct.
Those concepts in the sutta are just pointing, they're just different ways of expressing, like when it refers to rocks and so on, it's actually, or the wind, it's actually pointing to the rupas themselves, just using conventional language, but talking about rupas that are anicca and anatta, but using ordinary language. Like when we say now, oh, we can see each other, actually just conventional language, but pointing to moments of seeing now that just see what is visible. But it depends on the understanding, whether it's appreciated that what is being referred to are just Paramatta Dhammas. Whatever the Buddha taught about, it was about Paramatta Dhammas arising and falling away, but using different language which was suitable for different listeners and in different ways. And this is why the suttas are, why it's subtle, because so quickly we're misled by the words about I and people and rocks and winds and oceans, and forget that actually they're just different dhammas arising and falling away now.
So usually we hear about rupa as being the reality that doesn't experience anything. And in this sutta, is it explained by way of being changed? And you mentioned the word rupati.
Right.
What is the meaning of rupati?
This is the meaning of deformed. So the meaning of rupa actually comes from this word meaning deformed. So it's a play on word. So it's referring to that which arises and falls away and is deformed at each moment, disintegrates at each moment, doesn't last for an instant. So it's pointing to the nature of any rupa at all.
And I think the meaning given by the commentary here, Dhamma, is that rupati means actually broken up. Broken up. So I suppose it relates to the general perception that rupa is solid or tends to last. For example, thinking of the earth lasts a long time. But this points out that its rupas are subject to breaking up. That's as much as we can glean from the commentary.
Thank you, John and Sarah. And I think I have a further question on the same sutta. Let me read that. It is about being devoured. And it is said, I am now being devoured by feeling. I am now being devoured by perception. I am now being devoured by volitional formations. I am now being devoured by consciousness. And then in the past, also having reflected thus, he becomes indifferent toward past consciousness. He does not seek delight in future consciousness, and he is practicing for revulsion towards present consciousness, for its fading away and cessation. I would like to hear more explanation on this part. What is being devoured here?
I can just read from the commentary, which is quoted in this translation. I don't know if it's helpful, but it says that the earlier sections have discussed the characteristic of non-self. Now he will discuss the characteristic of suffering. Therein, form does not devour one as a dog does a piece of meat by tearing one apart, but rather in the way a soiled garment might cause discomfort, as when one says, this shirt is devouring me. Do you like me to repeat that again for translation, or you got it?
Got it, but I don't
Yes,
know
you can go ahead.
So being devoured here refer to the
Is a
dukkha.
reference.
Okay.
The different characteristic of the previous one, characteristic of dukkha. Being oppressed.
Yes, the use of word is quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think in any case, it's just referring, Jay, it's just referring to the different nama khandhas and how, because of desire for that which is unsatisfactory, one is overwhelmed or oppressed by them. So dependent on pleasant feeling and averse to unpleasant feeling, minding so much about what is remembered and so on. So susceptible to the different nama khandhas, but actually each one arises and falls away. It's anatta. It's of no importance at all. and gradually through understanding that actually it's always been like this, different pleasant, unpleasant, indifferent feelings arising and falling away of no significance at all, but because of clinging to what is unsatisfactory, there is so much concern about them. But for the wise, there is more and more detachment, letting go. They use the word revulsion, the opposite of delighting in what is impermanent and unsatisfactory and not in anyone's control. So I think it's just pointing to how, with more understanding, there's less susceptibility, less clinging to what is impermanent and unsatisfactory. So I don't mind too much what words are used, because it's just the translator's term or word, and sometimes it's difficult to find the right word, but understanding the point is more important.
I think in this case, without the commentary, it's not easy to relate it to the dukkha characteristic.
I think this is one of those suttas that was described by the Buddha as deep and difficult to understand in the Dhammadinna Sutta. One of the suttas that the group of 500 Sotapanna lay people said was not easy to understand.
Indeed, it's not easy at all.
And I think in the commentary it indicates that it's beyond their plane, beyond the plane of the 500 Sotapanna lay people.
Sorry, John, what did you mean
Certainly.
by beyond the plane of the 500 Sotapanna? The plane mean like human plane?
Speaking, John?
Sorry, I don't hear you, John.
Sorry. I think it means that we sometimes talk about trying to understand things that are beyond our comprehension. So that would be an example of being beyond our plane. Because of in our case, because of the limited degree of understanding. I think in the case of the Sotapanna lay people, it was because of a combination of the level of understanding and maybe the way in which the sutta is worded, because it's, as we are finding, it's the wording is somewhat not clear, doesn't give a literal explanation. They are all, the terms used are all slightly different from what we are used to, how we're used to hearing realities described.
Yes, thank you. Không biết các quý vị tham gia pháp đàm hôm nay có câu hỏi gì nữa không ạ? I just wonder if anyone had more questions.
Can we say devoured now by one's own clinging? So it's like the clinging eats up and destroys what is there. So the clinging causes all the harm, the clinging with ignorance, clinging to feeling, clinging to sannyas, clinging to cetasikas, clinging to vijnana, devouring at this moment. So it's pointing to the letting go of the clinging, the gradual detachment through understanding, not being devoured by one's own clinging to these different realities.
So does that mean that because the failing to see the unsatisfactoriness of realities that we are devoured by them?
Exactly. Taking them for being so beautiful, taking them for lasting, taking for being so satisfactory. So actually, they're not like that. So this is why we're devoured by them. Because of clinging and ignorance, not understanding the truth of Vedana now. Any feeling whatsoever is unsatisfactory and gone instantly.
I think the explanation given in the sutta itself is fairly clear, because the sutta reads, I'm now being devoured by form. In the past, also I was devoured by form in the very same way that I'm now being devoured by present form. If I were to seek delight in future form, then in the future too I shall be devoured by form in the very same way. Having reflected thus, he becomes indifferent towards past form, and he does not seek delight in future form. And it goes on in that vein. So we can see that it, as Sarah suggested, it's a reference to attachment, being attached to form. That is the reason why it is said that one is being devoured by form.
Yes, thank you.
Can I say a little bit on the topic? Can I bring up on the topic?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. For me, I always appreciate the emphasis on understanding what is here and now. And I think it just in Paramahansa, isn't it? And for me, in a snap of the finger, trillion of mind arise and disappear. Therefore, when we talk about the present, what Dhamma are arising, then almost I think all Dhamma can happen. I mean, in snap of the finger, there are many mind arise and disappear. But my question is, that's why we can talk about everything. And I think it's just include in 72 kind of insight entity that have their own characteristic and that are capable of becoming the object that we talk about to improve understanding. Of course, it's said Nibbana. Can I hear some more explanation from you or the teacher? Thank you.
I don't know what the 72 you were talking about, what your comment at the end was. Did you follow it, Tom?
Could you just repeat the last part of the question?
The last part, we didn't quite catch it.
Anh Giao có thể nhắc lại câu hỏi cho ông bà không?
Yes. I think you mentioned about 72 kind of entity that their own characteristic that are capable to becoming the object of consider to improve our understanding about the reality at this moment. I mean, we cannot say to just 72 kind of reality have the entity that have their characteristic.
For myself, I don't know what the 72 are. I'm not familiar with this. But in any case, when I consider and reflect on dhammas, I don't think, oh, I won't consider passa because it isn't appearing now, so it won't be known now. But, oh, I'll consider hardness because maybe it will. I think behind it, it's the idea of atta that would like to select what can be known now, instead of just considering, reflecting what is heard, what is read, and just leaving it to conditions, not expecting what will appear or what can be known. Otherwise, there is the hidden desire for result, hidden desire to hear about what can be understood now. And an idea of I is there, wishing to understand this or that Dhamma. So I don't think like that about just hearing what can be known now. We talk about hardness now because it's obvious. Hardness is touch now and it's apparent. But even when we talk about those realities that don't appear, it helps to consider how at this moment there is just citta, cetasika, and rupa arising and falling away. No one there, nothing there at all. So no need to think of the 72 or any other number of dhammas that can appear now. I'm going to pass this to Ajahn to see if she would like to make comments on that.
I just find out the text. I think that more clear to the Jonathan question about 72 kind of entity. So 72 kind of entity includes citta is taken at 1, cetasika are taken at 52, rupa taken at 18, and the last one is nibbana. I think it's helped me more clear my idea about 72 entities. Oh, we can't hear from you, Sarah. We can't hear from you, Sarah.
Right, I understand. So you're talking about 1 citta, 52 cetasikas, 18 rupas, and 1 nibbana for your nibbana. But does nibbana appear now? And how many cittas? Is it 1 citta or so many different cittas? So anyway, we don't need to count, but we can just consider what is appearing now, what is life at this moment. Because otherwise you talked about the 72 that are capable of being the object, but what is the object now? No nibbana, not 28 rupas, not 18 rupas or 28.
I just want to say about that we can say about everything, but we just consider on the reality which have the characteristic we can observe, and that's what I want to say.
Well, in what sense do you mean we just consider?
I'm sorry, just consider, I mean, we can say about the reality which have a characteristic to observe, to
So
consider,
you're
to
saying
understand.
only 72 only 72 realities to be understood.
Yes, I think about this.
How does that help?
Help me to correct wrong understanding appear from me.
I'm not sure it's helpful. I can see that some people may think that the different kinds of reality are infinite, but that is not the case, as we know. The number of realities is finite, and there are different ways of calculating that number of realities. But in the long run, actually, it's more a case of learning, first of all, learning about the different characteristics and their function, the different realities and their function, whether they're counted as this number or that number, and just considering what one has heard about them. So the actual way of counting the number is not important. But it is important to know what can be the object of understanding. And I think that is your point. For example, concepts cannot be the object of understanding of the insight kind, leading to insight. So in that respect, it can be helpful to have some way of reminding oneself what are the different realities. But it's more a question of a general understanding of the path taught by the Buddha. Because one can have the right number, but the wrong approach. Still have the wrong approach. Thank you.
And is there a we that can observe anything? Or can anything be observed?
No.
So no we to do anything, no observing to take place. If understanding arises, it understands just what appears. It doesn't mind about 71 or any other number. If hardness appears, it understands, but no I, no observing. This gives the suggestion of doing something or practicing again. But if hardness arises and appears, and it's gone instantly, it just depends on conditions, whether there is any understanding, any awareness of it or not, but not anyone observing anything. So forget about the observing.
Yes. Thank you. But we can say about observing with other meaning than no one there at all. But I think that just the technical from use the word observing from because I understand no one, nobody. Maybe my English.
Then what is the reality of observing?
Because I think, especially for those who have before followed different practices or meditations, so used to the ideas of focusing on an object, observing an object, studying an object, being mindful of an object. But by understanding that dhammas, including awareness and panya, are conditioned and fall away instantly, no time for any observing or focusing or catching any reality. Either they arise, perform their functions and are gone, or they don't arise. So nothing to be done at all. That's the main point. So no need to think of 72 at all. Just understand more about what appears now. Otherwise, it's like thinking this should be known and not that. And, oh, one consciousness. What does it mean, one consciousness that is known? Seeing is not the same as hearing. So when seeing appears, there can be the beginning of understanding its characteristic, but not observing or looking for it or focusing on it or trying to find it at all. Just subtle points, because the subtle clinging, the subtle ideas of I can slip in all the time.
Yes, thank you, Kusara. Thank you.
Thanks, Sal.
Thanks. Time for other people. Yes.
Yes. Let's give Ajahn time first and then see if anyone else has any other questions. Perhaps Ajahn has some comments on any of these topics, the devouring or the this topic of yours or any others.
We used to talk about many things, but what is there in life? The reality which experiences the object. It's there unknown. And how can it be known without consider the truth of this very moment? What are there at moment of thinking about the 72 and so on? See, they're all dhammas, but when will it become to be a dhamma, not as anything, as I or something? It has to be considered the truth of ignorance and attachment. Where is it? We talk about ignorance and attachment. It is moment of seeing, hearing. It's there. That is not known. And what cannot know is ignorance. It cannot understand the truth of this very moment. That's why no one can stop the thinking about this and that so long. But when the understanding of what is there is established, it's there to be known. That's why we learn about the truth on and on and on without thinking about something else, like the subject and so on, the way, the manners of explaining, because the truth is the truth, no matter how it is explained, just to understand the truth of that which there, which thinks about it at moment of thinking. The truth is that no one. It's just a reality which experiences the idea or remember the words and so on. That's why these are covered up by ignoring the truth of what is there as no one and no thing. So when we talk about many things as subject of thinking and attaching, it cannot lead to understand. what is there right now. It keeps on going, thinking about this and that, on and on and on. That's why, in order to understand what is so close and so near is now is not known yet. And what word can condition moment of understanding that very important truth that actually it's not there anymore, as is taught in many different manners that we have to just talk about the truth of that which is there, so very short and on and on. That's why no matter how much we thought about or consider about the truth, it is conditioned to let go whatever is there. As we talk about the anagami, no clinging at all to that which is now appearing, but without beginning to understand the truth of what is there a little more in the word that we can understand it about seeing right now, thinking right now. It can bring about the understanding of the truth of what is there. But if it's just thinking about the number and so on, when will it condition the moment of understanding the truth of that which think is a reality, which arises and falls the experience only the word or the idea of that moment and go. So how much understanding if we keep on talking about numbers and go on like that. That's why when we read any sutta, just explain about the truth, the reality which experience the object, so many different characteristics in a day, in life, and the reality which cannot experience anything in a day, in life is the unknown as its nature, as it is, no one at all. That's why just learn to understand the explanation in different manners as this sutta and that sutta. Sometimes it's just a word about reality like attachment. It is explained in many different ways, very similarly. But the truth is that again and again to understand the truth of it. That's why when we read about any sutta or about just the number, it's to be conditioned to begin to understand the nature of that which is there. This is the point. No matter how much we learn about the nama and the rupa, just to condition the understanding of what is there. And this is the point of studying, not just follow the words without beginning to understand the nature of what is there as no one and no thing. That's why we can read about any sutta, even they are so very similar, just talk about one reality in different manners. But it's just to be object of considering that it's there now or it's only that which is there. That's why it depends on conditions. The point of understanding the teaching is to understand the truth of no matter what way is explained, just about the nature of that which is now, experience the object, and whatever arises falls away until it's there. No matter what is read, it's just about the truth. Little by little, developed to understand what is there now, any moment. No choice, unexpectedly. What is there now? See? Just what is there now. It's time not to forget the nature of seeing. to be learned to understand the truth, it sees a reality which experiences whenever it arises. It experiences arise to experience an object. But the nature of the reality, which is not soft or smell or taste or any rupa at all, it's there. Imagine this moment, nothing there. So even at moment of nothing there, that which experience the object is there, but the object is unknown, is not known. Otherwise, the object is known, and the nature which experiences it cannot be known when the object is known. So now, just talking about anything, number or not number, what is there at moment of thinking of that, talking about that, and so on in life? Just that which experiences an object from moment to moment by conditions, non-stop at all, from one moment to another moment. And even it's that which experiences the object, no shape, no form at all. Just that reality, see, experience, just this word. It also is conditioned to arise, to experience different moment, different object. At moment of talking about the number, it's there. See, no one knows. That's why understand the nature of reality which arises and experience, and that which is there but cannot experience. It's the only way to let go the idea of I am thinking, I am talking, on and on in the day, little by little. That's why each word is just like the reminder not to forget the truth of what is there as moment of experiences and object. That's all, from moment to moment, day to day, in life, in samsara. No matter what we talk about, any word, the truth is there as it's a reality. And the truth in life is that no one, but there is seeing. So seeing is that it's not anyone. But the truth of it, that it cannot be I or anyone who sees, is that it is a reality conditioned to arise to see, to think, to consider, no matter what is there, so true. So the truth is covered up by ignorance and attachment about the number and about whatever is there. The point is to understand the different reality which arises and experiences the object, and the reality which arises but cannot experience anything. So no matter how many words we have talked about, it's just about the truth. What is there in truth? Not the number, not the word, but the truth. If there's no experiencing, how can there be not the word? And what experiences not the word? See, it's there all the time. That's why we can talk about different realities which arises and experience the object in different characteristic and different function, different way. So what is there now? The moment of saying 72. What is there at that moment?
Thinking is there, Ajahn.
So what is 7, 70, and 72?
Ajahn, I ask the question because when we said about the reality, we consider more about the characteristic of their reality. That's why I asked about just have 72 kind of Dhamma and characteristic. That's why I asked the question. But now I understand what Ajahn want to help us on the way to understand Dhamma. But thank you, Ajahn. Thank you very much.
Is there a memory or remembrance of 72? See, many realities unknown until we learned to understand just one moment. What is there or what are there and what appears and what do not appear. Right now there is sanya, but sanya does not appear until it appears at moment of 72. See, sanya must be there, unknown. So the truth of 72, there must be the reality, see, not anyone at all. Why? 72, why not other number 82? See, by conditions. So right understanding can arise to understand any moment of truth when it develops enough. But no thought about it because the condition to understand it is not there yet. That's why the understanding of the truth of what is there has to begin again and again and again. So now, when we talk about a number, right understanding is not developed. But when now we're talking about the truth of it, it begins to understand, not forget the truth. Otherwise, it cannot develop at all. When we talk about what is there now, or what is now, see, it's their memory, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about 72, unknown. The truth is no one. So no matter we talk about any sutta, any word of the truth in different manners, even the same word is explained just in different manners, it's there now. And when there are conditions enough to understand the truth of it, it's different from intellectual understanding. But without intellectual understanding about what is there now, That cannot be letting go of I at all. So it begin again and again, just begin again and again to think about it, to understand it, to attend to it, to understand the truth very gradual in life. Is it true?
Yes. Ajahn, when you said about our understanding is very, very little, that means it's very small. Ajahn, can you say a little bit about it?
That is panya, which knows how much understanding is there, right?
Yeah.
Ignorance cannot know at all.
Yeah.
And panya understands what level of understanding is there. Intellectual understanding or direct understanding. Even sanya or any reality is taught by in different manners. Many sutta just about one reality in different degrees and so on. Just talk about life, different degrees of all kinds of reality, even attachment, aversion, and rupa, see. And imagine when the rupa appears, is it just like now or not together like now at all? And so very short. Nothing is there, only that which is clearly understood because it appears only one at a time, in succession, non-stop, just like now. So learn to understand the truth, no matter any moment it's there, but it's covered from years and years ago not to show up as it is, until right understanding begins to know and just touch it, dig it deeper and deeper to realize the truth. So now, at moment of thinking about anything, it depends on conditions, whether there is moment of understanding the nature of what is there. If it's not developed at all, no conditions for its arising at all. It's just like now, on and on and on. So when one comes across a number, what is there? Just understand one reality clearer or closer enough to understand just the other reality, not just pass it on, spend 72 and so on. Just one reality has to be considered again and again, more and more, until it gets closer and closer to understand what has been learned about it as it is, arising and falling away.
Ajahn, can you say more about the aspect of not experiencing anything of rupa.
Hardness there now. Is there hardness now? Does it know anything? Can it think about that which touch it? In life, how many rupas can be experienced? Usually, that which is seen is real. It cannot experience anything at all. The red, the blue, the black color, the shape and form and whatever. Can it experience anything? And can it be without the reality which is there too? Or can it be without that which experiences it? See, to understand the truth, to understand the moment of experiencing something or anything, what is there? To understand that actually no one can change its nature at all. Can anyone change hardness to be smell or to know that which touches it? Impossible. Can it talk with someone? Impossible. Can it think? Can it like? Impossible. Is it there? By conditions. And at moment of it's there by condition is thought a reality which experience such idea. And this is life. And what conditions it to arise? The rupa, the reality, which cannot experience anything, to understand the truth of each moment when it's their experience, that it's just a reality, experienced and gone. Whatever arises falls away, no matter it is taste or smell or hardness or whatever, which is experienced by three doorway, six doorway, different ones, different ways. So it's now. What is there now? See, the reality which experiences and that which is experienced and that which cannot experience. Just learn to understand the world, what is taken. If there's no reality appearing at all, how can that be what we say? World, or even not in words, but it's there as a world. So they can be thinking over what is there further or a little more, just even a little more, it will lead to be anagami and arahata at the end. But without being sotapanna, how can there be letting go, attachment to the sensuous subject? It's deeper and deeper. And when we read the sutta, it's time to think about it, what did Buddha say, what did Buddha say to those who came to visit him about that which is their appearing. Someone came to see him with mana, so what would he talk about at that moment? Someone came to see him with anger. What did he talk about that moment? To be known because it's there. So when anyone can talk about what is there known, it means that he knows about it. Otherwise, how can he talk about it in such manner of understanding the truth, the witness of the truth, this moment of understanding the truth? So the truth is developed very gradually, unknowingly, just like now. It's the way to attain enlightenment, eradicate ignorance, attachment, and kilesa stage by stage. So we can talk about anything to have more understanding of no one. Any sutta, any word by word, to understand a little more clear. We can have clear intellectual understanding, but not clear experiencing what is there yet. But without intellectual understanding, there's no way to experience the truth. Anything you'd like to talk about? One reality at a time, to understand that it's there now. Otherwise, even it's there, it's not known without understanding the truth of it. That it's so true in what way?
Ignorance, Ajahn.
Okay, it's there now, right? So much enormous. There is seeing, no understanding of seeing. A reality different from panya. When we think of ignorance, it seems like it's not real. But it's a reality because at that moment, the moment of not understanding, the reality is there, not understanding the truth of what is there. So in life, from day to day, from moment to moment, understanding how much ignorance is accumulated moment to moment by conditions, Learn to understand the difference between seeing and moment of ignorance, not the same moment. See, this is life. Who knows? But now, without understanding the truth of that which experiences the object, it's just a word, no meaning. But when there is the understanding of the truth of the whole world, any reality, there are only two different kinds of reality, which is not known at all as it is, without hearing about the truth from the enlightened one. The one now sees it's real. It's not that which is seen. Now, who knows? We're talking about the fourth path of the Eightfold Path. Understanding the truth is samadhi. At moment of understanding, no one, and it's not the seeing. It's not like, but it's that which understands the truth, beginning to not forget that what the truth of this moment is that it's just a moment of that which arises and see, experiencing what is seen, not at the back. Only that which impinged on the eye base. See, just in a split second, there are conditions for that to arise, to experience the object, and then gone. In a day, no one at all, no me. That's why learn to understand the truth. When there are conditions, it condition moment of some moment, think about it. Just think about the way it is or whatever concerning the truth by conditions. Otherwise, one gets lost in thinking about the concept all day. That's why hearing again, thinking again, consider again, it develops gradually not to forget the truth of seeing at moment of seeing. Learn a little bit to understand the truth of that which sees, to have firm confidence of the reality no one experiences that which is their sin at all. Just like now, see, little by little, it accumulates and it develops on and on and on, unknowingly, until time comes, a little more attention to what is there in life. Who knows what moment would be, because it hasn't arisen yet. But there are conditions developed gradually to condition the moment of even just thinking about it's a reality it now experiences. See, until the nature of that which experience the object get closer to be known. So this is the intellectual understanding, which will condition direct understanding. By then, no doubt about that which is aware. It's different from intellectual understanding. Even there is awareness, who knows? If Buddha didn't tell us about this, if he didn't show the truth, that even at moment of understanding there is awareness, otherwise there cannot be understanding. The details of life in a moment to moment is learned from considering the truth he taught for 45 for long time, like 45 years. See, it's there all in life to be known, to understand closer and closer the truth of that which now experience the object. And from his teaching, the understanding of that nature, the reality which is conditioned to arise, to experience, is there from birth. Arising and falling, the moment of birth, it's not the moment of next moment after birth. And this condition letting go little by little of ignorance and attachment, no other way. That's why when there is firm understanding of the truth of the reality which arises and experience, and that which arises but does not experience anything, there can be right understanding of what is there in the teachings of the Buddha, no matter what characteristic or what word of truth is there, deeper and deeper. So, is there any doubt about avijja or ignorance now? Is there now? Only when kusala is there, it cannot be there. Who knows? Without hearing, considering, understanding a little more. That is so true. In words, but in truth, is there condition enough to understand the reality which is there now appearing. So Buddha taught stage by stage, pariyatti, very firm confidence of the truth about the realities, the near one or the far one, the five khandhas, the gross and the subtle ones, and so on. So true in life. And the understanding, letting go of ignorance right now, gradually, very gradually, unknowingly, until life goes on with a little more understanding of the truth of what is there in life.
Thank you, Ajahn. I think our time is up, so very helpful. And thank you to everyone who has participated and joined today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะ